Hey, this is Mike from Mike Buys Houses here, and I just want to make a quick video about the different costs that are associated with selling your property to a traditional home buyer using a realtor or to someone like me here at Mike Buys Houses, a real estate professional. So the first thing is that um, you need to check out what the fees are going to be when selling with a realtor. So if you look into it, most times realtors are going to charge anywhere from 4 to 6% in order to help you facilitate the transaction of selling your property. And honestly, that's kind of a bargain. If you watch my video on selling your house without a realtor, you'll learn all the different things that realtors do to help you sell your property. And it's a lot of things. As far as marketing your property and dealing with all the potential buyers and weeding out the people who aren't real buyers and helping you negotiate with them, it's a long process. There's a lot that needs to get done. So, really, to help you facilitate that process, they're giving you a pretty good price, but it is a price that you need to consider. Um, so think about it as anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 for every $100,000 that you're going to sell your property for that you need to account for either in equity or money that you're going to need to bring to the table. The second thing that you're going to have to consider when you're selling your property traditionally is the repairs that it needs. So you're going to have to be able to pass the certificate of occupancy in your area in order to sell the property traditionally. And depending on the type of loan that the homeowner is getting, who's buying your property, there may be more stringent requirements that are needed in order to sell the property. So you're going to need some money and time in order to take care of that if you're going to be selling your property traditionally. You're also going to have to work on some staging. You want the property looking good. You want it clean, smelling good, not cluttered or anything like that. And if I showed you the other side of the camera, you'd see maybe I'm not ready for staging. So I'm sure that this may be the same situation for everyone. And you're also going to have to consider landscaping. That's another thing that you're going to have to consider. Curb appeal when trying to sell your property because it's going to be based on the marketing and the photos that are done. That's really going to help attract the buyers. And if you aren't able to attract the buyers, then it's going to be difficult to sell the property for the amount of money that you want. So it's important to consider the other costs. So that's going to be repairs, landscaping and curb appeal, and staging costs when selling your property traditionally. Whereas if you were selling to a property owner or a property buyer like me, you don't have any of those costs. I buy as is in cash and fast. As well, I also buy on terms, which is also allows me to, sometimes pay more than the property's worth and pay you interest on your money. So those are some things that you may want to explore. But the third thing that we're going to talk about is closing costs and all the fees that are associated with selling your property traditionally. And so the closing costs can be pretty significant. There's a bunch of different categories that make up what closing costs are going to be. Up to this point, you've already considered paying the realtor fee, which is going to be anywhere from 4 to 6%. And then also you've considered staging, landscaping, and repairs. That could be anywhere, usually $500 to $5,000, $7,500, depending on what repairs your property needs in order to pass the CO, be ready for end buyers, that kind of situation. But now you're considering the closing costs. So what's included in that? If you want a real in-depth analysis, you can check our article out, Closing Costs in Philadelphia. You can find it on MikeBuysHousesPA.com. Just Google closing costs in Philadelphia and you'll see it there. It's real in-depth and goes into all the costs that are associated in your closing costs and how you can save money on some of them even. But what basically a real quick rundown, that's going to include your loan costs, your lender charges, like the different insurances that they charge, your title and settlement charges like title insurance and stuff like that, and actually running the process of selling the property and paying for that, and then your government charges like the taxes. Lastly, you're also going to consider seller concessions, which usually you're going to have to pay at the end. You'll find that out at the closing table. Usually sellers are going to, or home buyers are going to ask the seller for some type of concession depending on how hot the market is. And lastly, so when you consider all that combined, that's going to be about 9% in cost in order to sell your property, depending on what condition it's in. So if it's in worse condition and requires more repairs, it's going to cost even more money. But this is just looking at the actual cost to sell your property traditionally, the traditional closing costs that are associated with selling your property. So if you don't have a lot of equity, you may have to come out of pocket for some of this, and that's some of the things that homeowners reach out to us about. And I do refer them to the closing costs article because there are tips to save money on your closing costs. Granted, it's marginal because there's only so many ways you can cut costs there, but I do send them to that if that's something you're looking for. But if you're looking to sell your property, you can definitely reach out to me at 267-984-4765, and I can help you evaluate what's going on and maybe what's the best move for you. So if you're wondering what value I can bring you after hearing all those things that are associated with the cost to sell your property traditionally, I can cover all those costs. I will absorb all that, and you will sell your property quickly and easily. So you can reach out and give me a call at 267-984-4765, or like I said, visit us at MikeBuysHousesPA.com. We look forward to helping you.